Chira Road Police, in coordination with local leaders, conducted an operation along the northern bypass in the areas of Chigowa 1 and Bukoto 2. The operation went on successfully, and we managed to net 21 suspects and also recovered the marijuana plants and along with other exhibits. We also carried out an operation in Kamuli Rubawo, then along Kamuli Road, Namugongo Road, in Chireka Ward, Namugongo Division, that is in Wakiso District. In that operation, that was on the 25th of October, we netted 17 suspects, and all of them are in police custody, and I think by the course of today, we shall be taking them to court. We also carried out another in again in Koboko Ubuto village in Buyogede division. That one we netted 9 suspects. All these suspects, we find them in possession of narcotics. Now we are carrying out these operations, like I earlier communicated. We are having a challenge of very many youth who have turned to drugs, and when they consume these drugs, especially marijuana, the last thing you hear is them waylaying people who are moving to their businesses in hours, a bit of late hours, especially beginning with 10 p.m., then also very early in the morning. You can see we carried out one along the northern bypass, but our biggest appeal to people is that all these operations can only be successful with your input. We have time and again communicated that, like for instance, along the northern bypass, there are homes overseeing the bypass. These suspicious youths can be seen and detected. We have people who are engaged in flower businesses. These youths can be detected. This information should be discreetly passed on to security agencies so that we arrest these potential offenders or suspects before they cause harm to our citizens. Without your assistance, it becomes very hard for us. We need that citizen out there who sees suspicious people and communicate to us. Like we have said, they always gather in small groups, consume illegal substances, especially marijuana. Sometimes they gather around the bypass, waiting for traffic jam to strike at vehicles in jam. They usually open those vehicles, steal valuables, laptops, they steal phones, especially for persons who you find that one is driving and the window is down. Now, these youth can be identified by people who are keen. And once identified, we always appeal that that information is immediately shared with the police so that we roll in and we find a solution for them. But in some incidences, like I've mentioned, you realize that the local authorities, the LOCs, have been very, very instrumental in helping police. Then, of course, not forgetting our sister agencies, the UPDF, under their unit of the LDUs. Those ones are doing a very tremendous job. And these operations shall continue. They are not going to stop here. We are doing them intensified well in the Kampala metropolitan area and also in our regions all over the country. I would also like to pass on information where on the 26th of October at around 17 hours in Pereje Cell, Pereje Ward, Apokol Town Council in Tororo District. Police received a tip-off regarding a firearm located under the bed of one Omodo Vicent. The information was provided to us by one Nyapendi Josephine. This Nyapendi Josephine is said to have been possessed when somebody started praying for her. She developed possession. We take this very serious, caused havoc. Every time you hear that a gun is in illegal hands, you know that there is a very, very high likelihood that this are lost. So this one was a score, and we managed to get it. The photos are all shared. We also managed to get a gun in Lokwapo village in Loleria Parish, Loleria sub-county in Kabong district. In this incident of 27th of October, a call Lopus was selling a gun. Upon us getting intelligence, we sent our officers along with the officers of UPDF to go and buy it. So the gun was brought. It was an SMG with 12 rounds of ammunition. So we immediately nabbed him, and excuse me, we have so far transferred him to the military authorities, paid him to the military authorities to be court-martialed. So this one was also a very big score, because in the areas of Kabong, these are guns that are used for rustling, and very many lives have been lost. A lot of livestock has been stolen, courtesy of such guns. We also have, I think this is the last, our K9 was used in the areas of Malaba, where a transformer had been vandalized on the 25th of October in Malaba Town Council. We introduced our K9 named Vegas, and it took us to the home of one Okwalinga Joseph. And upon searching Okwalinga's residence, many electricity meters belonging to Umeme, wires, and overall gear was found in his home. Although Okwalinga is currently on the run, but we are so sure we shall apprehend him. Those are the few incidences I wanted to share with you. Thank you very much. Maybe okubawayo version ya Luganda nti twagala okubawa update eya enjega eyagwa ekigogwa omuliro gwayisa bubi Abannayuganda. Nga bwe mumanyi nti jo twakozesa obukugu bwa science okutegeera ani nannyini mufu, kubanga abantu emirambo gyonna gye tubadde tuyina mu ggwanika gyali gyayokyebwa bubi nnyo. So ne tukozesa DNA process ne tusobola okufuna okutegeera ani owooluganda w'omufu, era ne tusobola okuwaayo emirambo eri abantu baabwe. Naye twali tubawadde yesterday twali tubawadde information nti abantu abajira mu muliro ogwo era abakafa bali 24 naye by yesterday akawungeezi abalala 2 nabo tebalutonze ekiruddu era kati wetwogerera ng'abantu abakafiirwa obulamu bwabwe kati bali 26 20 basajja 6 bakazi era tujja kuba tubawa updates ezifa ku enjege ye yagwawo ekigogwa tunaba tufunye information then eno stories endala zino zikwata cooperations ngabo manyi tubadde era sinti tubadde tukola bukozi naye tukyakola ebikwekweto bingi twakola nga 24 twakola ekikwekweto ku Northern Bypass ne Kigowa 1 ne Bukoto 2 parish ne twakola operation eno nga tuyambibwako abakulembeze b'oku byalo ebyo era ne tufunayo abavubuka 21 n'enjaga era nga bano bonna tubatwala mu kooti ne tukolayo era operation endala nga 25 October mu bitundu bya Kamuli Lubaawo zone mu Kireka Railway zone ne ku luguudo lwa Kamuli road Namugongo road ne Kireka Semo zone era eyo yo twakwatayo 17 ng'era nabo tubalina mu kaduukulu ka police nga wetwogerera tujja kuba tubatwala mu kooti ne tukolayo n'endala mu byalo bya Buto Bweyogerere division mu Kira municipality eyo twakwatayo 9 naye nga bano bonna tubakwata n'enjaga naye kati bano ababuto bo mu bifaananyi byaffe mujja kulaba balina n'ebisi jambiya ebintu ebimenya amayumba so naye reason kulaki tubawa information eno leero ekintu kye twagala okusinga okucommunicatinga n'abantu baffe kiri nti kati nga operation y'oku bypass bano abavubuka bwegendereza obulungi kati nga abantu abasula ku bypass abatunulidde bypass n'abantu abakolerako tulina abantu abakolerako bayina gardens z'ebimuli bano abantu musobola okubalaba ne mubategeera ne mutegeeza security because batera okugwikiriza abantu ababa bali ku road run abantu abali mu mamotoka usually wabeerawo ka jam emotoka zitera okufuna omugoteko so abantu baba boogerera ku masimu abalala baleka emotoka zaabwe nga tebazilookinze abavubuka bano bajja ne bazigulawo ne babba laptops ne babba amasimu oluusi n'okukuba abantu ababulijjo ababa batambula so nga tusaba nti mukwatagane naffe bulungi nga bwolaba ebikwekweto bino bitambula bulungi kubanga tuyambibwako ba LC bino ebikwekweto tetubikola ffeka ba LC batuyambako ne batuwa information of course also tulina n'okusiima wadde nabo ba security siima UPDF especially ba LDUs batuyambako nga police mu kukwasaganya ebikwekweto bino so okusinga kye tubasaba nti bano abavubuka bwe tutakwatagana wamu really bajja kufuukira abantu baffe ekizibu abantu babakubye zipeeva abantu mugenda ne mubasanga mu malwaliro eyo nga tebali bulungi so tukwataganire wamu tulabe nti tulwanisa obumenyi bw'amateeka then story endala gye twagala okusharinga nammwe mu Tororo district nga 26 of October mu Pereje Cell, Pereje Ward, mu Apokol Town Council. Twafuna omuntu eyatutegeeza nti omwami omu we bayita Omodo Vincent yali ayina emmundu wansi w'ekitanda kye, nga yatutegeeza mukyala bamuyita Nyapendi Josephine. Nyapendi baali bamusabira, agamba nti ye mu kumusabira omwoyo n'amulinya ku mutwe, n'avaayo n'atuwa obujulizi bw'emmundu eyali wansi wa kitanda ky'omwami ono Omodo Vincent. Era emmundu ne tugifuna, twagisanga n'amasasi 29. Maybe just kyenerabidde okwogera mu Luzungu is that esasi erimu lyali mu chamber, so nga 29 ge gali mu magazine. Era emmundu tugiina. Ono Omodo Vincent ye twamukutte yesterday bwe twamufunye, era tumuyina mu kaduukulu kaffe. Ajja kubita ebya byonna, ebifaananyi byaffe kwebiri mujja kuba mbiraba ku mitimbagano. Then n'emmundu endala twagifunye nga 27 era yesterday jo mu Lokwapo village, Lolei parish, Loleira sub-county mu Kabong district. Omwami omu we bayita Akol Lopus, ono yali atunda emmundu, ne tufuna intelligence era twayimukira mu fene UPDF ne tugenda okugigula, era bwe yagireeta ne tugifuna naye ne tumukwata. Emmundu ya kika kya AK-47 ng'erina amasasi 12, era twamuwaddeyo mu mikono gya UPDF agende afeesinge court martial. Zino emmundu ze mulaba ze tuba tukwata, tusiima abantu ababa batuyambyeko mu intelligence okuzifuna. Emmundu zino zitera okutuusaako abantu obulabe bw'amaanyi, era tetukitwala lightly bwe tuba tufunyeyo emmundu kika kino. Kati nga Karamoja mukimanyi, abantu amagana bagatwala olw'emmundu zino, naye ate n'obulamu bufiirwa nabwo olusi. N'emmundu nga zino gye mwalabye eno eya Tororo, mulina okumanya nti mubadde mulaba incidents osanga mobile money outlets bazaatakinze, abantu balumbibwa. So bwe tufuna emmundu ng'eno tuba tukoze success y'amaanyi. Twagala kusiima abasirikale baffe abali emabega wa operations zino, then tusiime ne bawanayinki abatuyambako mu operations zino. Noono omukyala okundoza omwoyo yamulinye, kati ffe ne tufunamu emmundu. Then tusembyayo incident ya era Tororo, Maraba Town Council mu Tororo district eyabaddewo. Omwami transformer bagenda ne bagi vandalism ngiyite ntya, ne bagyenona. Ndoza mumanyi ebibaawo mu transformers nti baba baagala kubba mu kuzijjamu oba oil. So bagenda ne bakwata transformer, mugenda okulaba nga eri wansi awo, oba ngiyite ekiwuduwudu oba kiwuduwudu kya muntu, naye bazidestroyinga, then ne babba ne wires z'amasanyalaze. So bwe twaintroducinze embwa yaffe, yatuliidinze w'omusajja omu we bayita Okwalinga Joseph. Bwe twagenze okwaza ennyumba ye, twasanze nga ayina mita za umeme, ayina waya z'amasanyalaze, ayina nezi overall ndozo obaze ye kabuti eza overall ovolo ez'amasanyalaze. Era ono wadde yadduse naye tumunoonya, ate tulina essuubi nti tugenda mufuna. Naye kye tusaba abantu mutuyambe nnyo, bwe mufuna kati ng'ono omuntu alina okuba alina balirwana ababadde balaba kamyufu mu kitundu naye nga olusi ebimwogerako tebimala bulungi. So kye tusaba is abantu okutuyambako okukwasaganya mu operations zino. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala. Yes.
Last time when you were here, you clarified, you mentioned about the accusations made by members of the family, especially in the case of the Haji who allegedly defiled his daughter. And of late we are seeing that there are so many videos which are in circulation and other bloggers making a lot of complaints against the police. And they seem to be having, they are not comfortable with the investigations into that case.
Okay. 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 Yes, sir.
As police, regarding this person that was protesting, as police, what is the status on believing protesting for this review factor? Police, you know, is this person a suspect or not? Everything, investigation, what one was protesting or not? You know, taking back the gun.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yes, no. Wanje? Hey. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I will give you the. Okay. Yes, sir. Okay. Okay. I think that's finally. Okay. Okay. I think that's all, eh? So we shall begin with the Jude Radio 1 about the case of Haji and I think Hajat. Yeah, I remember that case. I came and gave you feedback. You will recall that Hajat was complaining that had. Now, when I contacted our police circles, I got a briefing that her matter was looked into. And this is what happened. Police follows certain scientific procedures. And you'll also need to realize that investigative processes are very particular. In respect to this matter, there was an allegation that a child had been defiled. A statement was taken from the child. The child alleged that, yes, she had carnal knowledge with a particular individual. It could have been anybody else, but in this particular situation, she zeroed on Hajj. So what police did, it got her statement, and it also took her for a medical examination. The medical examination results came out positive, reflecting that the child had had carnal knowledge. Now, the details as to whether the child told the truth or not are purely issues that shall be solved in courts of law. When you wake up on a good day and you say that I had carnal knowledge with so and so and I'm a juvenile, then we must pick interest in the person you have accused. And that is precisely what police did. And police took the file, because we are not usually the final determinants as to whether you will end up in court or not. The moment we take a file and present it for legal perusal and legal advice in the office of the DPP, should they find that our investigations hold water, then they will indict you. And precisely that is how Haji ended up being indicted. Now, here comes bloggers. Bloggers and their narratives. For me, my appeal to bloggers is that get out of your comfort zone, take this information to the relevant authorities so that it is used as evidence. The moment you keep out there and you continue debating, a debate cannot be helpful in an investigation. Get that very good information you have, like for instance, the claim that the girl was coerced. If it is true, that is very good information that can be shared with the people who are handling this matter, as opposed to simply keeping it within the spheres of blogging. So, if there is anybody who has substantive information, contrary to what Hajat and the daughter gave us, it is the appeal of police to share that information, come with evidence. That information shall be utilized. I guess I've answered you, Jude. Then the issue of the story I've shared of the lady who gets possessed, and then in her possession we end up getting discovering a firearm. Of course, for us, we have shared with you information that we got a firearm. But there are so many other details which shall unfold. There is a lot of business that is going to be done in the investigative process. And at the end of the day, the investigations shall come out with the final and final truth. Who exactly, how did the firearm end up there, and so many other details. So, leave alone the possession. We don't mind much about the possession, but we mind that somebody was possessed by spirits. Of course, that one is not the issue. The issue is that we have an exhibit of a gun. We are going to carry out relevant and deeper investigations into the matter, which shall help us arrive at the final truth. My colleague here raised the issue of a video of a woman who smeared poo on a child. I've not seen that video. Maybe you will share it, and then after looking at it, then I will give a comment. There is somebody who has asked about the Chigogwa fuel tank inferno, and that how many bodies were claimed. As we speak, so far 22 bodies have been claimed. And as I've told you, that currently we have registered 26 deaths Yesterday we had talked about 24, but 2 more lost their lives in Chirudu, so the number now stands at 26. Lucky Choice, yes, Lucky Choice was arrested, but information I have is that he was, there was somebody else also who was accusing him. Lucky Choice has so many cases, but he was accused, and I think his matter, his file, police was given some more instructions on what to do. Then he get back to the ODPP, and then we shall continue with that. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's currently on police bond. But I want to confirm that he was arrested, and he has a number of cases which we want to bring against him, and those which have already been brought against him. So he will be answering one after another. Yes. Then lastly, my brother asked me about, now you have ambushed me. I wish you had asked me before, because now usually matters of this nature, I need to usually first consult the people who are handling the files of such cases. You asked about the shooting by a police officer on that, of that youth who later lost his life when he was on, I think, a police car, something like that, jumping off a police car. Now, this one purely I need to first consult, because as and how I am now, I do not have information. Yes, sir. Oh, mpozi waliyo Luganda, yes. Judo wa Radio 1 yabuziza ku ensonga ya Haji ne Hajati ne muwala waabwe ow'emyaka 14 we bagamba nti yasobezebwako. Ensonga eyo twagireeta wano. Hajati yali yeekubira enduulu ng'agamba poliisi tenyambye. Poliisi yatunula mu nsonga ya Hajati negoberera ensonga gye yaleeta yonnyini, nga ensonga yali nti 1 omwana wa myaka 14, ekirala nti omwana yasobezebwako. So poliisi negendera omwana oyo nemuggyako statement. Omwana n'awa statement nga alumiriza omuntu ogwo Haji. Juzi wavuddeyo amaloboozi agagamba nti omwana baamukaka. Kiyinza okuba ekituufu, kiyinza okuba ekifu. Naye ffe kye tugamba is that ffe poliisi twagoberera omwana kye yakola ki, kye yatugamba nga victim. Ne tukwata ne statement ye ne tugiteeka ku file. Ne tumukolako ne medical examination ne tusanga ng'omwana ekituufu kyo yali yasobezebwako. Kati ebisigadde bijja kuva mu kunoonyereza. Babloga bavaayo ne batandika okuggyayo ekifaananyi ekirala. Babloga kye tubasaba, eyo gye mujja obujulizi obwo n'amaloboozi ago ge mufuna agatuwa bino ebifaananyi ebirala, mutuyambe nnyo abantu bano information eyo efune engeri gy'ejja ku fayiro, because ekintu kyokka ekinaataasa mu musango guno amazima okuvaayo obulungi ye nga information eno ekonvatingibwa n'efuuka evidence. Bw'obanga version omukyala ne muwala we gye baatuwa nfu, mujje mutuwe version entuufu, naye mufune engeri gye muvaayo gye muli eyo, information eyo esobole okutuuka mu bantu abakola ku musango guno kubanga yengeri yokka kati gavumenti teyinza kugenda ku mitimbagano neraba information engeri gye bali okugidiscussingamu negikozesa nga evidence. Muleete evidence eyo mugituwe tufune engeri gye tugikozesaamu mu kooti. Wetwogerera ffe nga poliisi twakola ogwaffe twatwala fayiro eyo nga bwe mumanyi sifa abasalawo. Office ya DPP bwetuwa office ya DPP yali esobola okusalawo negamba obujulizi bwe muleese bufu oba tebumala omusango tukoze eki fayiro tetugenda gisanctioninga. Naye bweba yagisanctioninga kiba kitegeeza waliwo obujulizi bwe twaleeta obwali busobola okuteeka Haji mu kaguli. Naye kyetusaba nga bwe mumanyi omuntu basobola okumugulako omusango naye tekitegeeza nti omusango ogwo 100 ku 100 yaguzza. No, wabeerawo chances nti ayinza okuba teyaguzza. Naye nga ebintu ebyo byonna okutuuka awo kiba kyetaaga bujulizi era kyetubasaba kyokka. Then omukyala wa Tororo ono we baasabira then omwoyo bwe yalinya n'atuyamba okufuna emmundu. Ebyo byonna tujja kubimaliriza mu kunoonyereza kwaffe kubanga okunoonyereza kukyagenda mu maaso. Era okunoonyereza bwe kunaggwa ekituufu kye kinaavaayo. Ffe tetufaayo oba omwoyo yali amulinye ku mutwe oba nedda. Ffe just kyetwagala okutegeeza abantu iza twafuna emmundu ng'erina amasasi 29 mu magazine era nga limuliri ne mu kyemba. Era n'omwami we balumiriza nti ye nannyini mundu eyo twamufunye era tumuyina. Then waliwo kyemwogeddeko ekya video nti waliwo ka video akayita ng'omukyala asiiga omwana pupu nekindi ebirala. Mbadde nsabye mukwano gwaffe aleese information eno tikansooke ntunuulire ka video ako then maybe bwe naamala okatunuulirako tunatandikira awo tulabe ebirala bye tunayongerezaako. Then waliwo abuuzizza ku njegwa ya Kigoogwa nti bameka emirambo emeka gye baakaclaiminga. Sofa emirambo 22 22 sofa y'emirambo gye baakaclaiminga mu mochare as of yesterday. Yesterday mochare baatutte emirambo 22. Then waliwo omulala abuuzizza ku kya Lucky Choice. Lucky Choice baamukwata naye alina emisango mingi naye waliwo ogumu sofa gwe baamutwalako ekabalagala eyo n'afunirako police bond. Fayiro ye nga bwekyatambula naye ng'akyalina emisango emirala mingi. Era ajja kuba ajansalinga gumu ku mulala. Then ekisembayo kyekya waliwo abuuzizza ku tutuuseewa n'okunoonyereza ku omwana we baakuba essasi we baali bakwatidde mu bikwekweto byaffe. Ndowooza yali Nateete. Ne mugamba nti kati ekizibu ky'ekibuuzo kino is that because mbadde seetegese mba nakusooka kubuuza abahandolinga files zino okusooka okumpa updates. Maybe kyenyinza okugamba nti kati mu budde buno siyina information. Mwebale nnyo mwebalire ddala.
Driver mwamufuna yali avuga emmotoka.
Emmotoka eruwa?
Yagwa Ekigoogwa.
Eyo mbadde siyina information nayo banda. Kale. Actually, Commander came, I mean, PRO came here with the brief, ne statement. Kuoli ku gundi crime gundi. But I think you will share with him even the. Okay, ekituufu kyo ekizibu kati mba sirina mannya wano naye tuyina omwami yali yagenda ku poliisi okugjayo omusibe, then wano mu kiwato yali ataddemu kapisto, mu luzungu kye tuyita effigy, an effigy of a gun, kwegamba kigundigundi, kitoyi pistol, ate nga yeeyita ranks ezatali, bagenda omunoonyerezaako obulungi abasanga nti yali mufere, era ne tumukwata. Amanya ge ye Mugume Langton wa myaka 23. Tayina kyakola, mu luzungu kye twaligambya unemployed. Yali yeeyita assistant superintendent of police. Assistant superintendent of police mu police abeera n'amayinja 3. Yali omuntu we yali azze okununula ku poliisi, baali bamukwatidde piki, era bano tutera okubeera nabo, omulimu gwabwe kununula bantu. Ajja n'akugamba nze nsobola okujjayo ku poliisi naye onfunireyo konfunirayo. So ono Jacinth tebyamutambulira bulungi, yali agenza okununula ate naye n'atalutonda. So kati ono ye tumuyina, ndoza story yeeyo. Weebale nnyo, weebalire ddala. Thank you. Mwebale nnyo banaye, njagala okubasiima, mwebale nnyo okujjanga okutuwa akadde n'okutambuza, mugezeeko nnyo okutambuza information yaffe eyo nga bwe tuba tugigundi. Naye ate n'ekirala kye sitaagala kwerabira, tulwanise nnyo misinformation ne fake news. Nga bwe mujjukira twalaunchinga campaign eyo ne NBS. Campaign yaffe ekyaliko nnyo, era omuntu yenna mu maaso eyo bw'ogwa ku information enfu, tukozese stamp yaffe eya NBS to making sure ya NBS yatugirayo stamp fena gyetu yatucreatingira stamp, si yayo nga yo naye yaffe fena, but I think they were instrumental in the creation of that stamp to making sure nti tulwanise misinformation, disinformation and fake news. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala. Episto kyekusharinga nabo kale. Oh, please.
Good morning, comrades. For the interest of time, we shall try to hurry up or to do it sharp. I'm Osborne Mshave. I'm the manager of public relations at NIRA. And today's discussion is premised on non-citizens attempting to register for national IDs in the ongoing exercise. There have been reports, there are some reports that have been circulating in the media that NIRA is denying a number of people a right to register for national IDs. It has also come to our attention that there are several non-citizens in this country that are attempting to register for national IDs, and many of these are claiming to be citizens by birth, but they do not belong to the indigenous communities that are entitled to the citizenship by birth category as enshrined in the 1995 Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. As you are all aware, the National Identification and Registration Authority is conducting a mass registration for all unregistered citizens of this country, with a main focus premised on the unregistered citizens who will be of the voting age by the time of the 2026 general elections. This registration exercise started on 27th September 2024 and will be carried out for 53 days, thus ending on 23rd November 2024. This registration exercise is being conducted in form of mobile outreaches in all the sub-counties, parishes, schools, hospitals and places of worship, sports grounds, and other public places. And this process is free of charge. It is important to note that however much NIRA is registering all citizens that have never registered for national IDs, not every person living or staying in Uganda has to have a national ID. There are foreigners who are in this country. There are people who do not have citizenship who are in Uganda, so they do not qualify to get national IDs. Only citizens or only those people who qualify for citizenship qualify to get national IDs. And the biggest category we have is for citizenship by birth. We have to note that for one to qualify for citizenship by birth, in accordance with Article 10 of the 1995 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, that person, he or she must be belonging to the 65 indigenous communities enshrined in the Constitution in Article 10 and in the third schedule of the Constitution, and his or her grandparents must have been living in Uganda by 1926 when the borders of this country were demarcated. And away from that, we also have other categories of citizenship, and these include citizenship by registration, citizenship by naturalization, and dual citizenship. And of course, also have citizenship by Article 9 of the Constitution for those who are British citizens or who were in the British Protectorate before we got independence in 1962. For citizenship and registration, one must get clearance from the Directorate of Citizenship and Immigration Control in accordance with the laws of the land for him to be able to come to us. But we have to note that for citizenship by birth, where a majority of us fall, the laws are clear and the guidelines are clear. You must be belonging to one of the indigenous communities, and your parents or grandparents, or at least one of them, must have been living in this country when the borders of this country were demarcated in 1926. As you may all be aware, Uganda became a British protectorate in 1894. So from 1894 up to 1962, when we got independence, we were ruled by Britain. But in 1926, that's when the boundaries or the borders of this country were demarcated to have the country we have today. So the indigenous communities that were in there by then, that were recognized, all the descendants of the parents we had by then, their descendants are thus deemed to be citizens by birth. That's why when you are registering for national ID, we insist on you proving your lineage, at least by bringing a photocopy of the national IDs for one of your parents, so that we can be able to match the details we have in the system. And for you to register for national IDs, remember we have to give you a form, and you have to take that form to the chairperson LC1, the GISO or the Gombora Internal Security Officer at the sub-county headquarters, and then the district internal security officer. So the moment they recommend you, at least you are halfway into the process, and NIRA does the background check to make sure that we do not register foreigners, to make sure that we register citizens of this country. This is therefore to appeal to all our LC1 chairpersons and internal security structures to fully verify all these applicants before recommending them for registration for national IDs. We have had these cases in Kisenyi, here in Kampala, and Masindi, and we do not want this to go to the entire country. We appeal to everyone. If you're a citizen and you know someone is staying within your neighborhood and is not a citizen, you can alert the security structures and also assist us to make sure that we only have citizens registered for national IDs. Otherwise, we call upon all Ugandans who have never registered for national IDs to use this opportunity to participate in our exercise. It's a country-wide registration exercise, like I've told you, to make sure that no one is left behind. And as we get to the 2026 general elections, let's have everyone registered for national IDs, because the data or information from NIRA is used by other agencies of government, including the Electoral Commission. Thank you so much. Then in Uganda. ffe ng'ekitongole kya NIRA tubadde tufuna okwemulugunya okuva eyo mu bantu ab'enjawulo mu ggwanga nga balumiriza abakozi baffe obutabawa mukisa okwewandiisa okufuna endagamuntu oba density era naddala mu kaweefube ono gwe tulimu ow'okwewandiisa okw'ekikungo nga tugezaako okuwandiika Abannayuganda bonna abateewandiisangako. Twaze ne tukizuula nti abasinga ku bantu bano ab'emulugunya si bannansi ate tebalina butuuze naddala obwo obutuuze bw'obuzaale nga bwe bagamba. Twagala kubategeeza nti omuntu yenna ng'awezezza emyaka 18 n'okudda waggulu ng'ayagala kwewandiisa okufuna endagamuntu oba density alina okujjuza foomu yaffe agende wa chairperson oba ssentebe wa LC1 agende ku ggombolola ewa Giso ne ku district ewa Diso. Bw'aba amaze okujjuza oba okufuna stamp okuva ku bantu abo ab'enjawulo aba asobola okujja mu NIRA oba mu ofiisi yonna ey'endagamuntu eri mu district ye oba mu kitundu kye kyonna ekiri okumpi. Naye bw'aba azze NIRA aba erina okwekenneenya oba okuddamu okuverifying okulaba nti omuntu oyo mutuuze oba Munnayuganda. So tubadde tufuna abantu abasinga nga beemulugunya nti tetubawandiika abasinga si bannansi oba tebasobola kukola ki kututegeeza oba okutuwa ebikwata ku bazadde baabwe oba bajjajja baffe. Ate jjukira okusinziira ku Kawayiro 10 oba Article 10 mu ssemateeka yaffe kagamba nti omuntu yenna okuba ng'afuna obutuuze bw'obuzaale alina okuba nga yali wano oba abazadde be oba bajjajja be nga baali wano mu mwaka gwa 1926 nga ensalo zaffe bazirambika obulungi, ensalo ze tulina kati mu ggwanga lye tuyita Uganda. So n'olwekyo tukubiriza bassentebe baffe ab'ebyalo n'ab'ebyokwerinda nga Bagiso ne Badiso okwekenneenya abantu bonna abaagala okufuna density oba endagamuntu okulaba nti tebatusindikira abantu abatalina kubanga bafuna endagamuntu. So ffe ng'ekitongole tujja kwewaayo tukole ekimala kyonna okulaba nti tuwandiika Abannayuganda bokka okulaba nti information oba ebintu bye tuwa eggwanga oba ebitongole ebirala ebya gavumenti nga bituufu ate nga bisobola okuyamba eggwanga okugenda mu maaso. So mwebale nnyo, mwebale ddala. Thank you so much.